Arjun Erigaisi has already proven that he belongs at the top level. In this video, we'll see how he outplayed both Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura in online blitz. He showed creativity, speed, and fearless play. So let's look at this game where Arjun has white pieces and Magnus Carlsen is black. So in this position, Magnus Carlsen has only one way to maintain the balance. And he did not find that and he got into serious trouble. So it was not that easy, especially in time trouble in an online blitz game. So I'll give you two choices and let's see if you will play the Magnus's mistake or you will play the best move. So those two choices are Queen A8 check and Knight D2. One of them saves the game and the other one gives advantage to Arjun. Let's see which one you will choose. So if you chose the move Queen A8 check, I have a good news and a bad news for you. The good news is that you played like Magnus Carlsen. The bad news is that you made a mistake like Magnus Carlsen. So Queen A8 check is what you played and then we'll see how Arjun took advantage of that. But the best move in this case would have been Knight D2. The idea is to bring the knight to C4, to not just attack the queen, but to try to deal with this dangerous pass pawn. Now, let's say in this position, if B7 is played, then that's not that great because there is Queen A7 check, forcing the queen to get to A3 and then the pass pawn would fall. So that's why Knight D2 and the position would remain complex. So for example, Queen C3 is there, then there is Queen A8 check, King B2, then there is Knight C4. Soon this pawn will fall and there are good chances that the game would most likely end in perpetual checks, draw. But yeah, for sure Carlsen would be out of danger. But in this position, he decides to play. So he should have played Knight D2 and then at some point Queen A8. But he changed the move order. And sometimes that can be enough to give big advantage to the opponent. Now, it would be like, but what difference does it make? We'll see what difference does it make and how precisely Arjun takes advantage of that. So he goes King B1. He's like, all right, I'm planning to play B7 and I might play Knight C5 to defend that. So Carlsen plays the move Knight D2 check, King C1, and then in this position Knight C4. So you'd be wondering that, wait, it just looks the same actually. What's the difference? Knight D2, Knight C4 now or Knight D2, Knight C4 after putting the queen to A8? No, that's the difference and that's the preciseness. Now there is this intermediate move that Arjun has available. He doesn't need to move the queen first. He can attack Carlsen's queen with a tempo. He can push that advanced pass pawn with a tempo. So had Carlsen's queen been on B8, then this move would not have been possible. And that's the difference. That's why Carlsen's move Queen A8. It's not a good move. Now, in this position, if Carlsen plays Queen B8, so Arjun, by the way, we need to save the queen. So Arjun can play something like Queen B4 and Knight D6. Doesn't save Carlsen because there is Knight C5. This can be defended. And then this is not a pleasant position for Carlsen to be in because this pass pawn is defended. And at some point, Arjun can even try to target the king. And then it's too much of pressure. So Carlsen in this position is like, all right, I'll try to create my own activity. So he plays the move Queen H8. By the way, even if you are able to promote to the second queen, don't do it in a rush because you might as well get checkmated actually. So Queen H1, Knight E1, Queen E1 would be a checkmate. So Arjun played the move Queen B4. So he's covering the square. So he's like, all right, you want to give a check? That's what Carlsen did. I'll cover that square. And now I'm going to promote. Carlsen played the move Queen H6 check. Arjun played King B1. King D2 was played. King A2. No more checks now. The pawn promotion is unstoppable. So the game went on for a bit. But then Arjun even brought as another queen in defense. And then soon he beat Magnus Carlsen. So a really nice, precise move, that B7 by Arjun. And also the importance of move order and how it can make significant difference. Now, let's go for the next game. So this time we are going to see Arjun's game against Hikaru Nakamura. So Nakamura has white pieces and Arjun is black. But before we see this game in a bit more detail, I have a small announcement to make. We are bringing the new feature of courses on chessneurons.com. Now, if you have some suggestions of which type of courses we should try to cover, so we'll of course be covering different positional themes and different types of courses for all the level of players. So, but what I want is some suggestions from your end of what topics you would want. So what we can do is some of the courses we can try to make according to your suggestion. So let's resume the discussion of the game. Nakamura versus Arjun. So in this position, Nakamura is trying to create some activity through the F file. So how Arjun navigates through that is extremely important to see. So another thing, if you look at it, is that Arjun's pawn is on d4, and that's why he has got some space advantage on the queen side. But first of all, he needs to stabilize the king side. Nakamura's knight on h1 is not that well placed piece, but it can get active. g5, in some case, if the knight is not there, then it can go to h5 or even f5 as well. So in this position, Arjun plays the move knight g4. What's the plan? We'll see. So after queen g3, he wanted to play the move f6. He is planning to centralize the knight. He's planning to bring the knight there so that the potential activity that Nakamura has on the king side can be restricted. That knight is flexible there. It can also jump here. The rook can also get to e6 at times. And the activity through this diagonal is also not there. So for Nakamura, so yeah, this was a really nice regrouping of pieces. Knight g4, then pushing the pawn to f6, and then centralizing the knight to e5, so that the activity of Nakamura can be restricted. Nakamura plays knight f2. He's like, okay, let's exchange the knights. No, that knight belongs to e5. Arjun is like, all right, if you want to exchange the knight, then you do it with the bishop. But then what would happen is my rook would get active, and then sometimes he might be able to put pressure on Nakamura's king side. Then in this position, after knight e5, Nakamura is like, all right, no problem. I'll play c3. I'll try to target your queen side. Arjun is not worried. He plays queen d6, rook a c1, rook a c8, b3. Now e5. Of course, he has the space advantage on the queen side, so he is going to do something there. He might play something like a4. He might play something like c4 also in future. So it depends on the course of the game what Nakamura goes for. So Nakamura plays h4. He's like, I might do something on the king side. Arjun is like, I'm not worried. I'll play h5. Why is Arjun not worried about pushing the pawn in front of his king? Because he knows that this pawn is on a light square, and because of this, this has become an outpost square. He can bring the bishop or the knight. Of course, later on, not right now, the queen will be lost, but this square has become a weakness for Nakamura. Then in this position, rook c2 gets played by Nakamura. Arjun just improves the king's position, king h7, then rook fc1. He captures it, and then there is this move, rook c6, improving the rook's position. And after rook d1, there is no pawn on d4. So what to do? Occupy it with the queen. Queen d4, centralization of the queen. After rook c2, he plays knight g4. That weakened square, he takes advantage of it. Then king h1 gets played. What to do here? Now it's tactic time to win material. Knight takes f2, queen takes f2. How to win a pawn? There is rook takes e4. Then d takes e4, queen takes e1 was played, king h2. So things are not looking good for Nakamura. And then after this, so Arjun creates a pass pawn on the queen side. He brings the rook on the king side. He is putting pressure there as well. And then after bishop takes a5, he loses the pawn, but he is not worried. There is significant pressure on Nakamura's king side. And then after bishop c3, Arjun finds the brilliant way to end the game. Can you spot it? He can play the move bishop takes g2. The idea is queen takes g2, then queen f4 check. He's not in a rush to win the queen. After this, he played queen a3 because, and then Nakamura resigned in this position. The point is that if this, then there is this. If king takes g2, then queen e4 check and the rook goes. If rook takes g2, then because of the queen e3 check, this bishop would also be hanging. And then, because of that reason, queen e3 check and Nakamura resigned. So extremely instructive games by Arjun to beat both Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen in succession. Thanks everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.